What's that smoke? No, not the warehouse! It's burning from the inside! My company, it's all gone. And nobody knows my face.
A man is watching his own company burn from the inside, and nobody knows his face. He stands at a warehouse door with a fake name badge in his pocket. Tomorrow he stops being the boss. Tomorrow he becomes nobody. Sir, your company made more money this year than ever before. Then why do 50 people quit every single month? Beckett Monroe did not answer his own question out loud. He just closed the file on his desk and looked out the window at the freight yard below. Trucks, boxes, tired workers moving like ants under floodlights. Somebody was lying to him. He could feel it in his chest, like a splinter he couldn't reach. I'm going in as a new hire, he told his assistant, Dean Ashford. Starting Monday, nobody knows who I am. Not HR, not the floor manager. Nobody. Dean's jaw tightened. Sir, if something happens to you down there, then I'll finally know what's happening in my own company. Monday, 6 a.m. loading dock 4. ***. Name? The foreman barked, clipboard in hand. Tyler Ross, new hire. The foreman didn't even look up. Don't get any ideas, Tyler. Every few months some new guy thinks he's gonna run the place. Load the truck. Keep your mouth shut. Wasn't planning on running anything, Tyler said. Just here to work. A girl beside him, ponytail, gloves too big for her hands, glanced over. You're lifting that wrong. You'll wreck your back in a week. Thanks, he said, adjusting his grip. I'm starting to think you're the smartest person on this dock. She almost smiled. Almost. Her name was Skylar Reyes. She'd worked the dock for 3 years. And within an hour, Tyler Ross, real name Beckett Monroe, owner of the whole company, understood one thing clearly. This place did not run the way headquarters believed it did. By lunch, he'd already seen 3 things that made his stomach turn. Workers signing blank overtime sheets. A supervisor tearing pages out of a safety log. A stack of shipping manifests that didn't match the numbers in the system he'd built himself. You're all pulling a double tonight, the foreman announced. No exceptions. That's illegal, Tyler said before he could stop himself. Then quit, the foreman snapped. Door's right there. Skylar caught his eye and gave a small shake of her head. Don't. Not worth it. Later, hauling pallets side by side, she said quietly. He does this every week. New rule, new punishment. And corporate never says a word. Maybe corporate doesn't know, Tyler said. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Corporate always knows. They just don't care. She's wrong, he thought. I care. I just didn't know. That was the first crack in the floor beneath him. The idea that not knowing was its own kind of guilt. 2 weeks in, he noticed an old man near the back gate wincing every time he bent down. You okay? Tyler asked. Knees shot, the man said. But if I take time off, I lose the job. Can't afford that. Doesn't the company cover medical? The old man let out a dry laugh. On paper. Tyler's hands went cold. On paper. 2 words that meant 100 broken promises. That night he learned the old man's name, Reyes, Skylar's father. He had a bad fall last year, Skylar admitted, not meeting his eyes. Doctors say he needs surgery. We don't have the money. He won't ask for help. Doesn't take charity. What if somebody offered? He'd say no. She paused. So would I. Tyler didn't push, but something inside him had already decided. The days blurred into a pattern. Work, watch, write everything down in a notebook he kept hidden in his boot. Shipments leaving without paperwork. A locked shed nobody was allowed near. A supervisor who made a phone call every night at exactly 9 p.m., voice low, eyes darting. There's a shipment going out tonight, the foreman told 2 men near the loading bay. No questions asked. Tyler filed it away. Another piece. He was starting to see a shape in the dark. Something bigger than late paychecks and cracked safety logs. Something with a plan behind it. And somebody somewhere had already noticed him. "You've been asking a lot of questions, new guy," a voice said behind him one evening. Tyler turned. It was Nate, another dock worker, arms crossed. "Just trying to understand the job." "Understand this," Nate said. "People who ask too many questions around here don't last." It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. And warnings, Tyler had learned, were usually true. Skylar's father's surgery finally happened. Paid for by an anonymous transfer nobody could trace. Skylar cried in the break room, not knowing Tyler was the reason. "Somebody helped us," she whispered. "I don't know who. I don't know why. Maybe somebody just wanted to," Tyler said. She studied his face a beat too long. "You always answer things without really answering them. Sometimes the truth would just complicate things." "Complicate them how?" He looked away. "If you knew everything about me, you might not like what you find." She didn't push, but she didn't forget it either. 3 weeks in, disaster. A stack of crates broke loose above the loading bay, right where the old man was standing. Tyler shoved him clear a half-second before the crates crashed down where he'd been. "You could have been killed," Skylar shouted, checking her father over. "So could he," Tyler said, breathing hard. Later, alone, he examined the strap that had snapped. It hadn't frayed. It had been cut. That night, he wrote one line in his hidden notebook. This wasn't an accident. He wasn't the only one watching now. In a glass office upstairs, a man named Dallas Pruitt studied a grainy security still of Tyler Ross. "You think it's the new guy?" a voice asked. "I know it's the new guy," Dallas said. "Watch him. Every hour. If he gets close to the shed, I want to know before he does." Dallas Pruitt had co-founded Monroe Freight 22 years ago, back when it was 3 trucks and a dream. When the company exploded into a national brand, the Monroe name went on every sign, every headline, every award. Dallas's name went nowhere. "They wrote me out of my own company," he muttered, staring at the photo. "This time, I write the ending." Back at headquarters, Dean Ashford sat across from a man he'd never officially met. A man with Dallas Pruitt's easy smile and cold eyes. "I'm not asking you to hurt him," Dallas said. "Just tell me where he is each night. That's all." "He's my boss," Dean said. "He's about to walk into something he can't survive," Dallas replied. "You can help me stop that, or you can watch it happen." Dean said nothing, but he didn't say no either. The notebook kept filling. Fake manifests, a warehouse that didn't exist on any official map. Money moving in circles that always ended at the same offshore account. One night, sneaking past the locked shed, Tyler finally got the door open. Rows of unmarked crates. A ledger with numbers that made his blood run cold. Years of stolen freight, laundered payments. A shadow business running parallel to his real one. Right under his own roof. "Looking for something?" a voice said behind him. Tyler spun. "Just a night guard, suspicious but not sure why." "Inventory check," Tyler said, steady. "Boss wants numbers by morning." The guard let it go. But Tyler's heart didn't stop racing for an hour. Somebody is running a second company inside mine. And they've been doing it for years. "You're different, you know that?" Skylar said one evening, walking him to the bus stop. "Most people here only look out for themselves. And you, I try to make sure nobody feels alone." She glanced at him sideways. "What about you, Tyler? What are you looking out for?" The truth, he thought. And you. Somewhere along the way, you too. People, he said instead. Just people. She smiled, and for one quiet second, the danger circling him felt far away. It wouldn't stay that way for long. Then came the betrayal. Tyler got a text from Dean, the one person who knew who he really was, the one man he trusted with his life. Meet me at the old rail yard. I found something. Come alone. He went. Of course he went. Dean had been at his side for 6 years. The rail yard was empty except for 2 black SUVs and 4 men who were not there to talk. "Dean," Tyler said slowly. "What is this?" Dean's face was pale. "I'm sorry. They know about Skylar's father. They know about your sister in Denver. They said if I didn't help them, they'd hurt people His voice cracked. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice, Tyler said, backing toward the fence. Not one where everyone I love stays safe, Dean said. And then he stepped aside. The men moved in. Tyler ran. He didn't remember climbing the fence, didn't remember the 3 blocks he sprinted in the dark. Lungs burning. Dean's face burned into his mind. The one person he never thought would let him fall. He didn't call anyone that night. He sat alone in his rented room above a laundromat, notebook in his lap, and said nothing to no one for a very long time. The next morning, Skylar found him staring at nothing on the loading dock, hands still. You look like you didn't sleep. I didn't. Talk to me. He almost did. He almost told her everything. His real name, the ledger, Dean, all of it. Instead he said, some things I can't say yet. Not because I don't trust you. Because I'm trying to protect you. That's the same excuse every time. I know. She walked away, and he let her, because the alternative was pulling her deeper into a fire he wasn't sure he could put out. 2 nights later, the brakes on a delivery van failed on a hill above the yard, with Skylar inside it. Tyler saw it happen from across the lot. He ran, screaming her name, and reached the passenger door just as the van clipped a barrier and spun to a stop, metal shrieking. She was shaking but alive. The brakes, she gasped. They didn't work at all. Tyler checked the lines later, alone. Cut clean, same as the strap weeks before. Asterisk, they're not just watching me anymore. They're trying to take everything I care about. Asterisk. That night, he made a decision he could not undo. He was done hiding. Skylar, I need to tell you the truth. All of it. She crossed her arms. Finally. My name isn't Tyler Ross. He took a breath. I'm Beckett Monroe. I own this company. The silence lasted 5 full seconds before she laughed. One sharp, disbelieving sound. You're the CEO? You loaded trucks with us. You worked overtime with us. You let my dad think you were just some guy. I wanted to know the truth about my own company. I couldn't get it any other way. You lied to me. I didn't do it to hurt you. It doesn't matter why, she said, voice shaking. A lie is still a lie. She walked off the dock and didn't look back. Beck stood there, notebook in his hand, more exposed than he had ever felt in his life. Not because his identity was gone, but because the one person who had liked Tyler now hated Beckett. That silence followed him home. He sat in his apartment that night and didn't turn on a single light. Just sat, in the dark, holding a folder full of proof that could either save his company or destroy everyone in it. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Asterisk, you have something that belongs to me. Bring it to the old rail depot at midnight. Alone. Or the girl finds out what happens to people who dig too deep. Asterisk. He didn't sleep. He didn't call the police. He made one call to a federal contact he'd quietly kept in his back pocket for exactly this kind of night, and then he went. There was no version of this that ended clean. He knew that walking in. The old rail depot at midnight looked like a stage built for an ending. Dallas Pruitt stood under a single hanging light, arms open like he was welcoming an old friend. Beckett Monroe. In the flesh. I have to say, the loading dock look really suited you. You built a second business inside mine, Beck said. Stolen freight, laundered payments, and when I got close, you tried to kill people I care about. I built this company, Dallas said, voice sharpening. Your father put his name on everything I designed. I got nothing. Not $1, not one mention. So yes, I built something of my own, in the shadows you never bothered to check. None of that gives you the right to hurt her. She's not the target. She's the leverage. Dallas smiled. Hand over the ledger, or Tyler Ross disappears the same way 3 other loose ends have disappeared this year. Beck's stomach turned. 3 others. This had happened before. Headlights cut through the dark. Skylar's small hatchback screeched to a stop outside the depot gate. Skylar, no. Beck started. I followed you, she said, breathless, stepping out. I couldn't just let you walk into whatever this is. Dallas's smile widened. Well, now I have both of you. For one long moment, nobody moved. Then red and blue lights broke across the walls of the depot. 3, 4, 6 patrol cars, and behind them, unmarked federal vehicles. Dallas spun toward his men. Who talked? A radio crackled from one of the agent's vests. Asterisk confirmed. Inside contact fed us the depot location and the account trail 2 hours ago. Move in. Asterisk. Beck's mind went straight to Dean. He was right. Across the lot, stepping out from behind an unmarked car, was Dean Ashford. No longer shaking, no longer scared. Steady. I never worked for him, Dean said, walking closer, nodding toward Dallas. I've been feeding federal investigators everything since the week you started at the dock. The rail yard, the fence, the 4 men. I needed Dallas's people to believe I'd turned. It was the only way to get inside his network far enough to trace the account. Beck stared at him. You let me think you betrayed me. I let him think it, Dean said quietly. I'm sorry it cost you a sleepless night. It bought us the evidence that just ended his company. 6 years of trust, nearly shattered, rebuilt in one sentence, in the dark under flashing lights. Dallas didn't run. There was nowhere left to go. Dallas Pruitt, an agent said, cuffs already out. You're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and racketeering. Dallas didn't fight it. He just looked at Beck one last time. Your father built an empire on my ideas and never said my name once. Remember that when you write your happy ending. Beck said nothing. Some truths don't need an answer. They just need to be heard. 3 weeks later, Monroe Freight announced full medical coverage for every dock worker, a real overtime policy with real paychecks, and an independent safety board with zero ties to management. Skylar's father returned to light duty, knee healed, insisting he still didn't need any special treatment. Skylar herself stood at the edge of the dock, arms crossed, watching Beck walk toward her in a suit that finally matched his real name. You still mad? He asked. A little, she admitted. You lied to me for 2 months. I know, but you also carried crates for 2 months. Took a beating from a foreman who thought you were nobody, paid for my dad's surgery without saying a word, and nearly died twice trying to fix something that wasn't even broken for you personally. It broke the second I met the people it was hurting. She almost smiled, the real one this time. I'm still angry. I know, but I don't hate you. She looked out at the yard, trucks rolling in the morning light. Being angry and hating someone, those are 2 different things. Beck never told anyone the full weight of what those 2 months cost him. Not the sleepless nights. Not the moment he thought his oldest friend had sold him out. Not the second, quieter moment when he learned that loyalty sometimes wears a disguise too. He'd walked in looking for thieves in his warehouse. He walked out understanding that the people he'd almost lost. A coworker who called him smart, an old man who wouldn't take charity, a girl who noticed how he lifted a box, were never the ones hiding something. He was, and the truth, once it finally came out, didn't destroy what mattered. It was the lie that almost did.